Hello everyone, welcome to the Power Academy. Here in this topic, we will going to discuss the problems related to the hydrogen technology and the pros and the cons of this technology and also the future prospect, how the future will going to accept this technology and how the technology will going to be improved in the future, that we will going to discuss in this topic. So let's start by saying that there is been a talk since the 1970s about a coming hydrogen economy, but there are many technical hurdles left to jump before such a thing become possible. The burning hydrogen produces no emission except the water vapor, and given the emission created by most existing energy sources, the conventional one, the most people would pick the hydrogen as their fuel of choice. If that were the only variable which is presently we have the different variables. We have the fuel cells, we have the petroleum, diesels, and the gas. So if only the hydrogen was the only variable, then the human beings would have picked the hydrogen as the first choice. But there is no such thing as an hydrogen mine rather than being an energy source. The hydrogen is a substance that energy can be converted into. The chemical energy of the hydrogen is converted to the mechanical energy through a redox. Redox means reduction and the oxidation reaction between hydrogen and the oxygen within a specially developed fuel cell. But electricity is required for that reactions, and the hydrogen produced then has to be stored for the transport and later use, and that is a real challenge. There are two main problems regarding the hydrogen technology. The first one we will going to discuss is the production of the hydrogens, how the hydrogen will going to be produced, from where the hydrogen we will going to get. That is the main challenge. As I said previously, that the hydrogen is not found in reservoir or the natural deposits, as we found in case of the coal or the petroleum. Hydrogen cannot be found from reservoirs. As with the fossil fuels, it is available with the fossil fuels. It needs to be produced from natural gas or the biomass or the electrolyzed from the water. One benefit of the hydrogen power is the decrease in the greenhouse gas emission, particularly when the gas is produced using the renewable electricity to convert the water into hydrogen. While hydrogen can be produced from the fossil fuels like the natural gas, this results in the greenhouse gas emission, thereby removing or minimizing the environmental benefits. But when we will going to use the renewable energy sources, then it will be the beneficial. But if we use the conventional, then the benefits of having the renewable energy in the form of the hydrogen will going to be negated, because we will going to use the electricity from the conventional source to convert the water into an hydrogen. So the conventional energy, to produce the conventional energy, the conventional power sources will going to emit the harmful gases into the environment. So that will be the same. If we are getting an green energy by using the conventional well, then it will be the zero for the environment, or it will be have the negative effect into the environment. That is why the production is the main challenge. The second most serious problem is regarding the hydrogen storage, because storage is one of the biggest challenge that the scientists are facing these days, because hydrogen is very explosively flammable. So any storage and the transport system will have to be very well engineered for safety. Also, hydrogen molecules are so small that they will soak into the solid structures of many metals. This is a key step in the use of the hydrogenation catalyst, but it certainly complicates its use as a fuel. Its molecular weight and the very low density also mean that the hydrogen has to be highly compressed to be an hydrogen on a particular scale, and that adds to the energy cost of using it. As the storage is very complicated, so the storage in the car became the more complicated. With the rigor to the transportation, there has been the research related to using the ammonia borane, a hydrogen storage compound from which the hydrogen can be separated using a membrane. This offers the transportation advantages as the ammonia is easier and safely stored in the tanks than the pure hydrogen. So we can use the ammonia to separate the hydrogen, and we can reduce the pressures on the tank in which we will going to store by using the ammonia. And also the ammonia is not very costly, it's very available, it's very much available with us. So that is why we can use the ammonia to separate it as a membrane to separate the hydrogen from the tanks outer sides. So this is the thing we can use, and this is how the scientists are trying to improve the storage and improve the productions of the hydrogen. And these two challenges, if these two challenges are being solved by the scientists, then the whole problem will going to be solved. That is according to the scientist. Now we will going to discuss what are the pros and the cons regarding the hydrogen fuel technology. The first we will going to talk about the pros. The first one is the cheaper tax. Like the electrically powered vehicles and the plug-in hybrids, hydrogen fuel cell cars are ultra low emission vehicles, meaning that will cost the low tax bracket, and that lack of CO2 emission means that the owners won't have to pay the road tax. The second is the environment. As we know that the conventional vehicle like the petroleum driven vehicle or the diesel driven vehicles emits the huge amounts of harmful gases like the sulfur into the atmosphere. So if in case of we are using the hydrogen fuel car, then it will not going to emit this kind of harmful gases into the environment. This will going to emit only the kinder elements like the water into the environment that is beneficial for the environment. This benefit needs to be qualified by how the hydrogen is produced, with the renewable energy sources being the most favorable. And the last one is the range. The range anxiety has become a factor for the electrical vehicles, even with the new technologies to dramatically improve the charging times. However, this is unlikely to be such an issue for the hydrogen cars, which can cover the 300 miles from one tank. So the range is not a problem for the hydrogen car that we are already facing in electrical vehicles. So this will going to have some advantage over the electrical vehicles. So that is why the human beings have to go for the hydrogen fuel vehicles with the concurrent developments. The developments of things is very much required to make it more polish. Now we will going to discuss about the cons. The first cons is the filling up. As we do know that we do not have this kind of technology, this hydrogen technology is not yet developed properly. So refueling stations are not there yet. At least in India, there are no refueling stations regarding the hydrogen. But the Transportation Minister Nitin Gadkari planning to install the hydrogen technology in India. This minister can see the future, can see what the other peoples are seeing. So the Nitin Gadkari, our transportation minister, will going to install this kind of technology very soon in India. The second one is the running cost. As the technology is not yet developed fully, that's why everyone concerns about the fuel cost. According to the current technology, the hydrogen would cost more than the petrol and the diesel cars. So that is why I said, or we, according to us, that the developments of a new technology is very much required. The third one is the fuel tanks. As I mentioned, the storage related problems, so the safety of the driven around with the tank full of the highly flammable hydrogen gas is the main concern. So the storage related problem has to be solved, and has to be solved with an forward hand. So in my view, the hydrogen the humans have to solve the hydrogen storage dilemma, because before the care storage is currently a major area of the research, with the different groups trying the new materials to try to find an workable system. The coordination framework, the crystals might be one options, and the compounds of the hydrogen with the various metals also being investigated. Any variable systems will have to be easily reversible, comparable of running for a great number of funding and the discharge cycles, able to storage the high densities of the hydrogen, and ideally the much safer than the dealing the gas itself. This is a tall order, but given the advances the chemistry, physics, and the material sciences have already made, there is no reason that it should not be solved, or it is an impossible task. It is an possible task with the new technological advancement. The every discovery in its inception looks like an impossible task, but when it's solved, then it becomes easy. So these problems regarding the hydrogen storage and the other technological anomalies will be solved, and the world will be a joyous place, because with an hydrogen technology we will going to make this world to meet the Paris agreement. So that is why this hydrogen cell technology is very much important. Now the question part. First question is, giant meter wave radio telescope which was seen in the news recently is located in which Indian state? First option is Sikkim, second option is Arunachal Pradesh, third option is Maharashtra, and fourth option is Uttarakhand. The second question is, log 4G vulnerability which was seen in the news is associated with which field? First option is environment, second option is cyber security, third option is artificial intelligence, fourth option is virology. So that is for this topic. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention.